Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye has friends. No, really, Jeff has friends. Jeff's friends are on this podcast. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship.
Friendship.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, creeps and whores, welcome back to Jeff Dye's Friendship Podcast, episode 66, or as I call it, 66. This episode is with the beautiful, the talented, the very, very fun, and sometimes angry with Jeff, ROXY STRIAR. Really excited to have her. I've been texting her to do this for a long time, and then just never has worked out schedule-wise, and then we finally got her. Roxy's a host and a actor, and I think she's going to do like producing and directing, maybe in the future. Maybe she already has. She's got a movie coming out soon with Kevin Smith. She is a host on Collider. She hosts a bunch of other things. I wish I would have the names, but I don't have the names of the things that she hosts already. But you'll be able to find her on all of her socials at ROXY STRIAR, on everything. And you should look her up because she's beautiful and very, very good to watch and look at. I don't know where I was going with that. If you guys are watching and looking at us right now, that means you're a Patreon subscriber, and we appreciate you and we love you and thank you so much. If you'd like to watch this podcast, go to patreon.com/Jeff Dye. For $10 a month, you get free comedy club tickets to all of my performances wherever I am in the world, and you get to watch this podcast every episode, new weekly episodes each week. I said week a lot. And if you're on iTunes or just listening for free, that's good too. We love you guys. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Maybe share for a friend. We're so excited to have Roxy on, and I appreciate her doing this. She is. There's something about our chemistry that is argumentative. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's some sexual tension. Maybe it's some. Maybe it's just young. She's young and she's annoyed with me. I don't know what it is, but there's definitely something there that, like, whenever I talk, she feels like she's got to like keep me in line. It's very weird. So you'll notice that at the first part of this episode, but then it opens up. So just this is one you got to kind of stick in there. It's like Red Dead Redemption. The very beginning is like what's happening, and then you fall in love with it. And I know you're gonna fall in love with her. She's very, very great, and we're happy to have her on. Enjoy the podcast, you weirdos.
You can give me a clap. Perfect.
With hesitation.
Well, I didn't know if I needed to do what you guys did. One,
No,
two.
that's okay.
You did it good.
Jeff Dye, one, two.
You're a person that wears all of your emotions on your face, I feel like.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Would you say you have a good poker face, or quite the opposite?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. No, I can if I need to. Because I'm...
If it's poker, maybe.
Yeah, well, I suck at poker, and actually yesterday I asked if poker was the one that you go to 21 on.
Oof.
So I learned it's not, and
not good at poker,
that shows
then.
how great I am at poker.
Yeah.
But I know how to lie.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a very good liar. Wait, maybe I am. I don't know. I guess it depends
just
on the
happened?
import. Well, I guess I was trying to be honest.
I've never
I was like thinking like,
So-
I guess I've lied.
So I've never caught you in a lie. So that's one or two things: you've never lied to me, or you're good at it.
Oh, here's the thing. I don't lie often.
Yeah.
That's me. I never lie, but I can.
Yeah, there you go.
I
I
don't
think
do
we've
it, but
reached
I
a
can.
happy medium here. Yeah, that's what I do. I don't like to lie, but when I have to, I
can
think
pull
I
it-
get away with
You
it.
can pull it out of the hat when you need to.
Because I'm not the boy who cried wolf, you know? Like, if you're not
Yeah.
lying a lot, they go, oh, no, he's trustworthy. And so you can kind of squeak one in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What'd you do with your nails?
I like to wear fingernail polish.
You painted them yourself?
No, I got this done at a place. That's why it's grown out.
You go to a place and you get 2 nails painted.
Well, so I get pedicures like every week. Because when you're on the road, it's nice to just spend an hour getting a foot rub and them doing your nails. I don't like dealing with my toenails. Ugh. So someone else does it. It's nice. And then I get one acrylic nail. Or this gel,
But
technically.
you have two.
This one, I was at a charity golf tournament this weekend, and the people that I hang out with there at all these like tournaments, they represent Fat Scooters. It's a company. Shout out to Fat Scooters.
PH?
Pretty hot and tempting scooters. Which is funny because they're named after like a fat tire. But like they made it PHAT, which is so weird.
I'm not into that.
Well, it's old. That's older than you. Fat.
No,
Saying fat like that was
I know it.
Not hip.
Pretty hot and tempting.
I mean, that's their business. Come on, we can't slander their business.
That's
It's
great.
a great
Good
name for a scooter company.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
So one of the girls there, she brought these like press-on nails, and she was putting them on everyone. And then I like it, so I've kept it on there. And then this is also just a little ring for this part of my finger.
What would you call that part of your finger?
Top part. The top part.
That's
of
the
my
middle
finger.
part, though.
Yeah,
No, I
it's
think
not the top part.
You got three
very
parts.
clearly.
I like to agitate women. I think it's very funny
Oh,
where like they're
good
like,
quality.
there's no gender roles. There's no gender roles. We should all just be. But like this, like I drive a big truck. Girls can do anything they want. Oh, I can. I play hardball. I'm not to be put in a box. I'm a woman, but I can do anything a guy can do. Yet the second I paint one of my fingernails, women, complete strangers, come up to me like, "What's with the nail? Oh, is it bothering you that I'm doing a girl thing? Is this only for girls?"
Is that what you took from what I said?
Not from you, but I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about in society.
Like, you're talking about women, and I happen to have a vagina. So.
Right. Well, women do that. In fact, you had to know. You requested an explanation of some sort.
Well, I would ask a woman why she had only 2 fingernails painted.
I disagree. I think if all 10 of mine were painted, you would have also asked.
No, I wouldn't have.
You would have just let me have painted fingernails.
Absolutely.
You asked me about a battery pack in my kitchen. I have a feeling you might ask about the 10 painted fingernails.
But that's not because you're a man. And was that a battery pack in your kitchen?
Yeah.
Is that what we're calling it?
The little pocket juice.
I thought you were talking about the battery-filled fake thing that I brought into your kitchen.
No, everyone asks about that.
Okay.
But I'm saying you asked about a lot of things.
Yeah, I definitely do.
I like how inquisitive.
I wouldn't ask if you had all of your nails painted. That would be normal. I asked because you
disagree.
have 2 random nails. You can't disagree with what I would ask.
Well, I just don't believe you. I think you're lying like we started.
I'm
a
a better liar than
if
that.
I had all 10 of my nails painted, you would go, so do you always paint your nails? Or like, why do
But
you?
why would I ask that? That wouldn't be weird.
Because I'm a boy. And I think that's what it is. It's a
A
gender
lot of boys
role.
paint their nails.
Yeah.
Did I ask you about your pedicures?
Well, you didn't know I had a pedicure.
But I didn't ask when you said you get pedicures. I didn't say, whoa, that's weird.
No, but what?
What?
That's different.
No.
Because nobody's going to admit that they're calling someone out on the gender role. Like, you wouldn't admit it. Like, that's not, you would never say, oh, that's for girls. But in your mind, it is weird to a girl that a guy would have a painted fingernail.
We all have 10. Well, hopefully, if you're blessed, you have 10 fingers.
Right.
So you paint them all.
Oh, no, I don't.
My roommate used to paint his nails.
Really?
Mhm.
Did he get asked about it a lot?
No.
Nobody asked him about it?
I think maybe sometimes.
So my buddy Davo got a pink cell phone. It's pretty silly. Like, nobody cares. Nobody should care. Everyone asks him about it all the time. And guess who asks him? Women. It's never dudes. Actually, that's not true. I should take that back.
Mhm.
A lot of like homophobic dudes ask him, like, "Well, it's the pink phone."
Is
and
he
then
gay?
like, no.
Oh.
And a lot of girls ask him. They're like, "Why do you have a pink phone?" And he's like, "Well, why does it matter if I have a pink phone? Like, I don't see how." So I think it's funny. The amount of people that ask me about this is fascinating.
You don't think you would ask me if I had 1 nail painted?
No.
Okay.
Because you're a girl. I also don't like comment on people's things. I
don't think we would notice because we're guys.
Yeah, I just don't
I
care.
wouldn't
enough
even
about it.
notice.
In fact, I think
don't believe you.
most men tread lightly on image things around women more so than women do. Like, I would just never go like, what's with that shirt? I would just be like, that's the shirt she's wearing. Like, whereas like I'll wear a stupid shirt and girls famously will comment on it. Like, what's with that? Oh, that shirt's a little tight. Or, oh, that shit. Like, there's this like freedom of like, just I'll say whatever the fuck I want when you're a lady.
But girls comment on other girls' clothes too,
Right.
not just guys' clothes.
Right.
Right.
But it's a little aggressive.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's weird. I used to wear a headband around. Oh my God.
Like a sweatband?
Yeah, I'll admit it looked dumb in hindsight, but at the time I thought my hair was longer, and I would just like pull it back and like have like a sweatband, like just in
Ponytail?
society. No, it wasn't that long. Wasn't long enough for that. But that's a good example. Like girls are like, what's with the man bun? You're like, it's a bun. If your hair's long, you put it up. What's with the female bun? You know, whoa. So what? Do you think you're cool because you got a female bun?
It would be woman.
No, you just tie up your hair.
Woman bun.
Oh.
Because you can't man. You know.
Man bun.
Man. Woman.
Lady bun.
Lady bun.
Lady bun actually sounds adorable.
Have a lady bun.
I don't know why we're arguing already.
I don't know.
Is that our relationship now?
I guess so. Kind of seems that way.
Yeah. I went on Collider and it was the worst time ever.
No way.
Yeah, it was horrible.
You hated it?
I did hate it.
You actually did?
Oh, I hated it.
Oh my God.
And when I left, I was like, I'll never do that again. I've requested that they take the video down, and Jack has put it on private.
Are you being serious?
I'm being 100% serious.
Why did you request that?
Because the second I came in, like, Christian, like, just put me on the spot to, like, argue with you. And who's not going to take your side? You're very likable. You're talented. You're good looking. And you're the star of that show, or one of the stars of that show. So they're not going to be like, let's take this guy's side, who
God.
we know nothing about, who seems like a douchebag. Like, they put me in the worst position possible. And if you read the comments, everyone just hated me.
First of all,
So that's the opposite of what I'm trying to do when I go on things, is to look like a shithead that is just like right away like, why is he picking on Roxy? I'm like, I'm not. In fact, I was feeling picked on, and that you asked me about.
do you want me to respond?
Yeah, of course.
Because I've got a couple of things. Number
Yeah.
one, people go against me on that show all the time. I'm the most hated person on that show.
I don't think so. Not in my episode. I made you look like they loved you.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But then number two, you don't like what they did to you over there, but that's what you did when I came here.
What do you mean?
Well, you immediately tried to start arguing with me about women and make me look bad, right?
No, you
and I'm
look
okay
great.
with it.
Trust me, there's a long intro to this that they're already in love with you. Like, this is the friendship podcast. You're on my podcast because I like you and I want them to like you and get to know you.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it had nothing to do
I'm
with
shocked.
you as much as women. Women comment on this all the time. This wasn't an attack on you or women. Women are famously coming out of the woods to ask me why I have one yellow nail.
What did you feel like was an attack on you then?
Nothing. Oh, wait. On your show?
Yeah.
So when you had a show, were we going down that path?
Well, I'm curious because I had no idea. And also, it's kind of interesting that there's a video that had to be put on private that producers wouldn't even tell me that happened. That this is the first I'm hearing about. How weird is that?
I don't know. Well, I put it on. I asked them to put it on private.
Right, but you would think I would know that.
Right.
Just so you know, Jeff asked to put this on private.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why they wouldn't have told you that.
Well,
That's strange.
I don't know. They don't got a lot of things going on over there.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Collider's
they're-
not the most organized.
Yeah.
I mean,
company.
I love it over there, but I just think that
Yeah.
that's a strange thing to not. If we did something that made somebody request that something was put on private,
Yeah.
it's probably an important thing for me to know.
Sure. But we love you, Roxy.
Toxic.
I love you.
Yeah, right.
I do. Not everything I'm going to say about a woman is an attack on you or women, even for that matter. There's definitely female observations in the world
you
that
don't
men
say-
are going to make.
You don't say things about a woman. You say things about women.
Yeah, it's a generalization.
I don't make many of those.
Oh, well,
or
we
I try
have
not
to.
Okay. Well, maybe you have to. I don't have to do anything.
But like, I think when you
Well, I
say
have to do
like,
some
like when you go like, oh, women don't like video games. Of course, there's women that like video games. But you're talking about like in a broad sweep. Generally, gamers tend to be dudes, and then there's a small, not small, but like a pretty good sized amount of women that like video games. But when I say that, it's because most of the guys I know, their girlfriends are like annoyed when they play video games, or they're annoyed. It'd be like, oh, women wear makeup. You're like, men wear makeup. You're like, I know that there's men that wear makeup, but it's kind of the larger sense of the thing. We can't get hung up on the discrepancies of like, yes, there's no broad, there's
Does
no.
this get you in trouble?
What?
This kind of thing.
What I talk like me
Like your
talking like this?
generalizations, yeah.
Well, you have to.
But does it get you in trouble?
No, not necessarily.
Really?
Why?
Just curious because like the time that we're in right now, people don't usually make sweeping statements like that because they're nervous.
Well, they do. They just don't look like me when they say it.
What do you mean?
Well, like a female comedian can be like, "Oh, men are so retarded," or "Men are," and like no one questions it. People are only really triggered when it's like some sort of group that they don't like saying it. Like go to any black comedy club, they're like, "White people did," and there's no problem with it. And I'm just doing the same thing every other human does. Like, look at the show that I was on called Girl Code. Those girls all got really famous doing really sweeping generalizations, and they're talented comedians who deserve to be famous. But like nobody's holding them to the fire on those kind of statements. We're like, women like blank, and you're like, well, women. If you're gonna do what you're doing, where you're like, no, you can't say women. But nobody
didn't say
cares when
that.
Amy Schumer does it. Or, you're saying that you can't.
I did not
make
say
those
you can't.
generalizations.
I didn't say you can't.
Okay, well,
You can do it. You can do whatever you want. I
Right.
said I don't.
Right,
I don't.
right. But
try
they
not
don't
to.
get in trouble for it.
What did I see the other day of yours that was really funny? Speaking of the R word, because
Yeah.
you mentioned it at the end, but something about the 90s. Whatever it was very funny. Do you know
Thank
what I'm talking about?
In the 90s?
No, it wasn't in the 90s. You were talking about the 90s or something. Like it was some joke, and then you used the R word, and then you said, I'm sure there's a great retelling of it. And then you said, don't worry, I'm allowed to say it because the time
it's
that,
your
you know,
Jesus
how-
joke.
The Jesus joke.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I don't like to use that word either. I'm very invested in those communities. But I think that it's also just a word. We kind of just talked about it on the last guest we just had a second ago before you. Like, to speak is to risk offending, but that's how you get to know people. So if me and you are talking, right, I would try my best to not offend you. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I want you to like me. But so that's the rules we're going to play in, that like now I can't offend you. But let's say I'm talking to 10 people. How do I not offend 10? So I'm going to try my best to not offend 10. But now I'm going into a room where there's 400 people. Like, how do I say anything without offending all 400, especially the ones that I don't know who have just bought a ticket to come see a thing? Now I'm doing shows where it's 1,000. I have
Congratulations.
to be able to speak in a way where let's just measure the intent and not the words. Because if you're constantly looking for a hiccup of where someone's going to say something that you like, there's this new era of thinking where it's kind of like, ooh, you can't, but what's this? Like, and it's like, no, let's just speak. And if I do fuck up, I'm going to say sorry. And I didn't mean that. My intent is always good. And in fact, I find like even where we started, if we're even going to air that part about the fingernail thing, is that I am okay annoying you by talking about women that come out of the woodwork for this thing.
You don't
because
annoy
I'm
me.
hoping, well, I'm willing to risk offending you, saying that, so that we can get into a nice conversation about it. It's fun. I get off on that kind of idea of like, this is going to make a conversation happen. This is going to make people say those things. So when Caitlyn Jenner first became Caitlyn Jenner, I had a billion questions, and everyone was just like, you're not allowed to ask those questions. I was like, sure I am.
Like
I
what?
want the information.
What kind of questions did you have?
If she is going to get rid of her privates, none of my business. But I'm curious, and I'd like to know. Let's say she's now with straight men, right? Like she wants to date straight men, Caitlyn Jenner. Is that guy still considered a straight man if he has to suck his girlfriend's dick for like, you know what I'm saying? Those are interesting things to me. Like, no, that's a straight guy, and Caitlyn is a woman. I mean, he blows her, of course, because so our minds say I'm a woman, but I am a woman with a penis. Like, so I like those kind of conversations. However, that's why I like hanging out with comedians, because comedians are never offended and never try to stick the breaks to you about asking those kind of questions. I wouldn't ask that at a dinner party where I'm meeting a bunch of people, because they would be like, this guy's a fucking monster. But those are the conversations and the questions that I like to jumble up, is all.
Yeah.
But my intent is always good. The words aren't.
I think that you're allowed to wonder whatever you want to wonder.
Right.
And then I think it's important to remember that you're not entitled to any information.
Absolutely.
And
it's
that's
none
the
of my
only
business.
Yeah. Well, it's not even just that it's none of your business. It's that it's not anybody's prerogative to explain it to you.
Right.
But if they would like to, then they can. And
Right.
you're allowed to be as curious as you want.
Right. And
It's
I like to
interesting.
ask those questions.
Yeah.
But if we're going to live in a time where people say, oh, you can't offend me, well, unfortunately, I don't mean to, but these are the things I say. And like, not the things that I say. My intent is always good. My words are often flawed, and I often misrepresent myself because I just want to have these connections with people, and I want to ask these things. And
But then ultimately, I'm confused why you would want a video to be private when that's exactly what you did.
Because I just looked like a douche. So what happened is I misrepresented myself,
And then you don't want it out there.
and then now people are only going to see that. What good does that do for me?
I don't know if you're putting yourself out there, though. I plenty of times have said things that I'm like, oh God, I wish I didn't say that. The internet comes for me, but I just leave it where it is.
Well, and it also didn't feel, like I said, it didn't feel like anybody had my best interest in mind.
Interesting. That's such a bummer. I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, it was awful. And then they were like, "Hey, let's talk about." It was not good. The whole thing was a mistake.
Yeah, I felt it was strange because I just watched it from the outside, and I was like, he's probably not happy about this. Like, just what was immediately asked of you. I was like, he probably
right away. It wasn't even like, hey, this is my comedian friend Jeff.
He probably
it was just right away.
Probably doesn't want to talk about that. And then the next thing was like, oh, he probably doesn't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
What did we? I don't even remember. What was
my
immediately?
ex-girlfriend at the time, who was a pro wrestler.
Oh, wow.
And then like right away, he was like, you know Roxy? And in my mind, I was like, no, I don't. Like, so that was like kind of like did we like hook up or something? And now he's like throwing me under the bus.
Did you think that for a second?
I mean, for a minute, I don't know. I'm like going through my brain, like, have we met? Like, did she change her look? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, did I once piss her off? So it just, the whole thing felt kind of uncomfortable, what do we do when we're uncomfortable? We put up like some sort of front or some sort of mask or something. And so because I was uncomfortable, now I'm putting on kind of like I'm not being vulnerable Jeff anymore. Now I'm being like defensive Jeff.
It's so sad though, because you had such a beautiful moment in the interview, I felt like, where we started talking about growing up and where you're from and how you live and all of that. And that's a bummer that people don't get to see that.
Well, also, if you look at the comments, nobody cared. I mean, that's nice that you thought that, and it's nice that you're telling me that, but I don't think everyone's just like, looks like this guy has a track record of girls hating him, and blah. It was like I kind of like got sad when I came home.
That sucks. I'm sorry. That's a horrible feeling.
How did you get involved in Collider? How did you get into that world?
The nerd hosting space kind of thing. I moved out here when I was 18. I auditioned into USC and as an actress.
Nice.
And on the plane ride out here, I met my first boss who was running AfterBuzz. And so
was running what?
AfterBuzz, which is the place that you just referenced about the show. So I went and started hosting for them, and then it just kind of took off, and one gig turned into 4, which turned into 10, which just kept rolling. And
nice. It
was where the money was for me. And I've started getting back into acting recently because it's where my passion lies, but it's hard to turn down what's paying your bills.
Absolutely.
So
do you like all that stuff too, or do you find that you have to like go watch that stuff because you know you're gonna have to talk about it?
No, I love it. I love film and television, and I think that that's why I want to be a storyteller, and whatever way that means. Like right now, when we're talking, you're telling somebody's story, and that's what I think is important. When you're on stage, you're telling stories. That's what I love doing. I just prefer a different medium to do so, if that makes sense to you.
That makes sense, yeah. Do you like but what if it's something you don't like? Like they're like, hey, did you see Godzilla? Or like, I'm not using that as maybe you love Godzilla.
I didn't
but
see
like,
it actually.
Do you have to share the things that you don't?
Yeah, and I honestly try not to review them because it's so hard to create something. And the last thing I moved 3,000 miles away from my family to come out here to dick on people's art.
Right.
Like that's the absolute last thing I came out here to do. Even if I don't like it, so what? So what? They still created something. They still did more than I probably have ever done. So I'll do it when I have to, and sometimes I'm getting paid to do it, and I'm not going to lie and say something's a masterpiece when I hate it, but I really try to avoid those situations because A, it's not smart for me as an actress to crap
criticize
all over
the
people.
directors.
Exactly. That's just not smart. And then B, because it's not nice. Like, why would I want to sit there and tear somebody to shreds? It's not me, and it doesn't feel good. I would so much rather talk about something I love.
Yeah, only in this modern time is art up for debate. Like, like take Game of Thrones. They give you 79 weeks of your favorite show ever, but then they maybe disappointed you with the last hour, and everyone is going bananas. You're like, you have enjoyed those 79 hours?
Right.
You loved it. You talked about it. You tweeted about it.
It's disgusting that we are so entitled as a society that we think that by signing a petition, they should have another episode of the show. Let them create what they want to create because guess what? You're sitting on your couch.
Right.
Yeah.
I used to always think that about like Batman. Like it's kind of cool that Batman. Well, I guess Batman was one of the first, maybe Superman, but definitely superheroes, where someone will just be like, I want to see Tony's Batman. And like, they'll give him the rights to like make his Batman. Right. And like, maybe I hate Tony's Batman, but that was Tony's Batman. Now we're going to get to see Frank Miller's Batman, and you get to see all the different, and it's the only time I've ever been like, but they already did a Batman. And they're like, yeah, but it's a different guy writing it. I was like, oh, I didn't even know you could do that sort of thing. Right. And now
Why
they're
not?
sort of,
It's
I
great.
love it.
Yeah.
But I was like 12. I just didn't know people could do that. And then, they're kind of doing that with like Stephen King's it. Like there was a whole different. And I was like, I went and watched the old TV version. And
What'd you think?
I didn't like it very much.
Okay.
I liked it when they were kids. I didn't like the second part when they're showing them as adults.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
but
for you.
but also
Well, no,
I didn't need to watch that to go see the new It,
No, you
and
didn't.
I watched that with my buddy Justin. It was like 6 hours or whatever. I don't know how long, 4 hours or
What?
the old It for the TV one.
Yeah, because it's 2 parts. Yeah, so
But it was
it's
what?
long.
It was like 6 hours or 4 hours.
Five. It was
I don't
five.
remember.
Yeah,
Right in the middle.
yeah.
But whatever it was, we watched it and we're like sitting there and we're like just me
It's
and
not really
Justin
a
on our
movie.
couch
It's-
just drinking.
It's like a
watching
mini
this.
series.
Yeah, it's old. And then we got to see the movie and I was like, oh, we didn't have to see that at all.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
No, that movie I watched. I don't know who was in charge, but I watched that movie far too young. I was like 4, so like scarred.
So your
me
brother was in
for-
charge. Timmy was in charge.
Yeah, Timmy right here.
Did you not grow up with a family?
No, I did.
Oh.
But
You just don't know
maybe
who's in
not.
charge that
He was
day.
just saying who let me watch this at that young of an age.
I took it way too serious.
Yeah. Oh no.
no, there's some of that.
So you have no parents?
There is some of that, but it's
'Cause that's my whole life. Like I read into things way too much.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's my job.
Does
I
that
guess.
get you in trouble sometimes?
Yes, all the time. All the time. I get myself in trouble all the time.
my biggest gripe with the whole art thing and like people the backlash that these people find is, especially now with like the Sonic the Hedgehog thing. I have such conflicting feelings about that.
Freddie Prinze is like ready to murder people over that.
Yeah,
I think that it looked amazing, and I think people are the worst.
yeah. I think
And I don't even care if they don't think it looked
And
amazing. Like,
right.
Shut up.
no, I have to agree with you because I think it looked awful, but I also think that's just their take on it. Like,
Let him make it.
it's not your movie. It's not up because as an artist, I'm like, it really kind of hurt me to see like, oh, they're going back on like their choices. Like, make a choice. Like, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be
George Lucas.
Yeah, that
Jar
too.
Jar's supposed to be the Sith, and you flaked.
Yeah. And that's a big thing too with Star Wars. That's another one. It's just like art is subjective.
Yeah,
like
it's supposed to be.
Just because
Not anymore.
you don't like it doesn't mean it sucks. Maybe
Think about that.
Maybe you suck.
Think about the comedy.
Maybe you suck.
Look at this. This is like when somebody doesn't like your comedy, they take it so personal.
Yeah.
You're like, maybe I'm just not the comedian for you.
Yeah, it's
Like why? Like this isn't worth like causing a whole problem about. Like it's such a strange.
It's so
I don't
crazy.
That's an interesting thing people do.
What?
They say exactly what they're feeling, then they end it with, I don't know.
Right.
But you know.
Yeah,
'Cause
you know. You just said it. Yeah,
exactly.
pretty convictingly.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like they're kind of like feeling guilty about how
What they said or how they said.
I don't know. Oh, what do I know?
I feel like whenever I end that way, it's because I know mine, but then I'm just like, but what do we? Any
Actually,
of us know?
this is an interesting conversation that I had with Jeff Baldinger the other night. And this will go back to what we talked about earlier. I'm not that connected to a lot of the things that I say. I'm pretty easily swayed. Like somebody could just go, "Oh, Jeff, have you thought about like this?" And that will be my new opinion because I'm like, "Oh, that's way smarter." Because I don't think people are used to being as not open, but as like easily swayed as I can be. So, for example, the other night we're talking about Louis C.K. Right? We're at a comic club. We're in the back of the comic club. I don't like having these conversations. I just want to be silly. I want to talk about like dogs. I want to like
you're talking about Louis C.K.
Yeah,
the conversation
and so,
you don't want to talk
so
about.
it's Eric Griffin, a girl comedian that I had just met. She was really sweet and like I wish I could remember her name.
Tanya.
But it was we
Sally,
had just met.
Jennifer.
So anything
Emma.
I'm going to be saying will be a first impression.
Okay.
That's risky, especially if we're going to start talking about Louis C.K. That's going to be our first conversation.
Was he a friend of yours?
No, never. I met him once and he was kind of a jerk to me, to be honest, but he didn't masturbate in front of me, so that's good. Winning. So it's Eric Griffin, me, and then this girl. And then they start talking about Louis C.K. and how, it's crap that he's coming back to stand up. And so I'm just sitting there like this. This is like my thinking face. That's all it was. But it does come off as like, oh, he's serious, or maybe he's agitated, or maybe he has opinions that he's not sharing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just thinking. I'm just going.
What were you thinking?
I was contemplating, does what he did mean that he should never be able to do stand-up again? Is it a harsh enough offense to completely take away his career? That's all I was arguing with in my brain. And I don't know where to stand on this. And so... also nobody cares about my take, but since they were talking about it, I was like, Yeah, but I mean, like people are like protesting comedy clubs. Like somebody, so I performed at this comedy club in North Carolina, and they booked Louis C.K. And
For the same night that you were going to be there?
Just like 2 weekends after me or something like that. But all these female comedians were on my Facebook saying, "Hey, you should cancel and don't support that comedy club because that comedy club is booking Louis C.K. and we think that that's so disgusting that you shouldn't work there either." And I was like, that's a pretty dramatic take that I shouldn't work because this guy, you know, it was like a whole thing. So I was saying like, yeah, but now we should punish companies that even don't, I just didn't know where to stand on the whole position. But when I started to try to verbally explain it, it came off like that was my opinion. And I was like, no, I'm just kind of throwing that out there. That's up for... That could be smacked down or that could be encouraged. You know, I'm just like trying to talk. And I could watch both of them just get really annoyed with me. And then Eric Griffin's like, well, that's easy. Like, what do you know? You're like a white guy. Like, you're never going to understand this situation because you're a privileged, like, white guy. And I was like, oh, now I don't even get to have an opinion because I'm a privileged white male. And then it was just like this really weird thing. And then I left the room and another comic was like, he was like, you didn't really care about that conversation, did you? I was like, oh, no, I didn't really even know what I was doing. I didn't even know what I was doing in there. Like, I just was like, the first sentence I said just was immediately kind of like attacked. And then I left. I was like, I didn't want to talk about it at all. In fact, I was just sitting against the wall, like just thinking like this, like, oh God. But they were all reading it as like, oh,
He's got something to say.
he's got some. He's holding back. This, what did he secretly vote for Trump? What? That's what this guy is. He's rooting for, you know, Louis to jerk off. And like, I was like, no, like, I was just thinking.
So what happens? You go home, you kick yourself, or you move on, you la-di-da-di-da?
What do you mean?
Like after something like that, right?
Oh, I had a great set and I hung out with a bunch of people I love. And I actually made friends with that girl and Eric. And I actually tried to explain what I just explained to Eric.
And what did he say?
Because he was like, oh, yeah, we were confused. And I was like, yeah, I'm not good at big boy conversations like that sometimes. Like, especially with things that have zero effect on me.
Why do you think that is?
Because I don't have the information. And I don't feel good talking about it when I don't have the information.
Why don't you have the information?
Because I don't look for it. Like, I don't care about
But you think
Louis
that's
C.K.
your world, right?
What's that?
I feel like you're inundated with that, with people talking to you about, especially with that topic.
Right.
Don't you think everybody is around you is talking about it? Or
Yeah,
no?
and I don't ever limp in. I just usually just stay quiet. Because I don't like I'm not perfect for sure. And I also like, I think it's pretty black and white, like when it's like, child molestation. Like I'm pretty aggressive towards Michael Jackson. Like I'm pretty aggressive towards like rapists.
So do you think people shouldn't listen to Michael Jackson on the radio anymore?
I think it would be good that they didn't. Yeah. But he's also such a giant star that people will believe whatever they want to believe, which is frustrating. I wish the world didn't see talent above crime.
Where are you with Harvey
Steve Harvey?
Weinstein?
Steve Harvey.
Well, Harvey,
I was like, what did he do?
Yeah, that's why I was literally going to go just all quiet. Like, what did Steve Harvey do?
Although Steve Harvey did write a mean email, but I don't think that's on the same level.
Oh yeah,
No,
I saw
nothing's
that.
quite-
You know,
It's not
I
quite
took
the
that
same.
email when I was doing Better Late Than Never. I took that email and I just reversed everything. So I was like,
Yeah.
if you see me in the hallway, come up to me and ask for a picture. If you see me in my
That's funny.
green room, whether the door is open or shut, please come in. Like I just did the opposite. And I sent it to I did a reply all
No way.
to everyone on the NBC, which is like hundreds of emails. Nobody replies all. And luckily the president, Paul Talegny, was like, this is hilarious. We love you, Jeff. And then that made all the other people under it. Oh, this is great. Like I'm sure like
He's
they
clear.
had
They got the green light.
It's so sad
Harvey
that-
Weinstein, of course, he's a monster, of course. Like
Okay.
that, like
so
he
you just don't know where Louis C.K. lies on that.
I don't know if he should lose his career. Is all.
What do you think?
He went into hiding for like a long time. He's obviously taken the time. This is another thing that might trigger you based on our earlier conversation.
I don't get triggered very easy.
Well, I'm going to make a broad generalization about
Okay.
women. I feel like maybe just online, there is quite a contradiction about what is allowed. So like a lot of women say men should shut up and just listen. Like that's the best thing they can do. But then women will say like, well, how come there's no male allies? Like why aren't they speaking up and being a part of this? Or like they're like, men need to communicate better. And then when we do, they're like, that's mansplaining. Oh, you're mansplaining. Or like if you say like, hey, I think Black Lives Matter, because, you know, like I want to be a part of that. I want to be part of this thing and say that this is a wrong thing's happening. I want to be on the right side of history of this. And then people, oh, he's white knighting. There's and maybe it's just because modern times and there's some spin for everything, but it's like, well, do you shut up or do you speak up or do you not? Like, there's just some sort of, it's tricky to figure out the rules on that kind of stuff is all.
I hear you. I think that it being tricky is fine, though. It's better than it not being discussed at all. And I don't think we're in a perfect society right now where we figured it out. But I do know that something needed to change and where we were wasn't working. And so even if we've had to go to the extreme the other direction, we will balance ourselves out at some point. I really think so. Yeah. Strong in this
You believe
one.
in the force.
Yeah, I do.
Is what you're saying.
I do. I think so.
What wasn't working? What did you mean by that? It's pretty general.
I think what wasn't working was until people were vocalizing the reason that mansplaining exists, right, is because for a lot of women's existence, it has been men explaining things to them that they already knew, right?
Give a better example, or give me an example.
I didn't even give
Yeah,
one.
you didn't
I didn't even give one. You
Give
want a
me
better one?
Example.
You know, it would be like
And
whatever you're doing, they're explaining to you how to do it. So because they don't believe that you have the ability to know how to do something. So say, for example, you're hitting print on a computer. It would be, so first you go into the top left corner.
Okay.
Anytime somebody's talking to me, not anytime, but this is what mansplaining is. I've printed something thousands of times in my life.
Right.
A man will come stand over my shoulder and say, okay, go to the left, hit the Apple button, go down, hit print. I've already printed it. He still just wants to explain it to me.
Okay.
Because he's a man and I'm a woman and I couldn't possibly know how to print something.
Okay.
So that's to me what mansplaining really is. It's men explaining things to women that either they have a clearer understanding of or they should have an equal understanding of.
Okay.
And so I think that it was to such an extreme that now we've gone the other direction where it's like, if you say hello to me, a lot of women are like, mansplaining. Now that's not legitimate, right? You can't just speak as a man and that's mansplaining. That's not what mansplaining is. So I think that we will balance ourselves out somewhere in the middle where men will realize that women are humans and capable of doing all the things that they're capable of doing.
I would like to see coexistence, which is what I believe the world has been trying to be, as opposed to these shifts of I believe that for when I was growing up, there was too many men on things and in things where there was a lack of female perspective. Whereas now there is a lack of male perspective because it's just been like, let's make The View where it's 5 women. And you're like, well, this is only a female perspective. You
do feel like there's a lack of male perspective on the screen right now?
There's a lack of interest in any male's anything right now. I do feel that 100%. Really? I mean, like in comedy, like there's this like whole like movement of like, oh God, more men. We don't need. It's almost like people are, instead of celebrating the women, it's this like, oh gosh, that's it's so gross to be a man, or oh God, that's so white that you do that. Like there's this trend of hating, which is not exclusive. I guess what I'm saying is I feel like in society, at least in the last like decade, it's been like, we should unite. Oh, and fuck white people. And you're like, what? Like that's not uniting. It's identity politics is what it is. People only are interested in what they are personally. And I think that that's very tired.
I think it's fascinating you feel that way, though, because from where I'm sitting, that's so not the case. Mm-hmm. And I think that still predominantly the voices in media are male. And I think that numbers would prove that. So even though women are having more of a voice than they used to have, mm-hmm. it's not that they have more of a voice than men have. It's that they're having more of a voice than they ever did before.
It's the only voice that's selling. And if everybody cares about money, you get the special. Like, let's get a girl who's pregnant and give her a comedy special. Let's get the girl who's, this girl is like this. Oh, this girl's Indian. Let's give her a special. It's kind of like this. It's almost patronizing in a lot of ways. Like if, to me at least, like when Amelia Earhart flies around the world, hundreds and maybe even over 1,000 men had already done it. But when a woman does it, they pat her on the back and go, look, even a woman did it. You're like, yeah, of course she could have done that from the beginning. If you'd have fucking let her, if you'd have let her go to like flight school, and if you like women have always been as capable, they haven't had the opportunity.
That's the point.
And so that is the point. Yeah. But instead of like saying, hey, this is the time, of course they can do it, they go, oh, look, little ROXY did it. That's patronizing. You should be like, no, of course I did it. I'm I'm just like everyone else.
I would
Instead
rather,
of like
though-
this big parade of like, and we let her do it. You're like, that's what is it's just a spin on a weird thing.
It's still a step in the right direction. I would rather be patronized, which still sucks, but then not giving any opportunities.
Right.
So if that's what I have to do right now, which trust me is my every single day life, where I'll do something that is cake to me and everybody will fucking pull out the ponies and the balloons and oh my God, look at her. It's so amazing. It's like, what?
Right.
But I would rather that than nobody hire me. So if it has to be one extreme for now, I'm okay with it.
Or like in wrestling, they're like, look, the first ever women's you're like, yeah, it's been choreographed since day one.
Mm-hmm.
You could have just decided to make these things happen. It's not like it's in the script. That's why, it's why they're like the first ever women's blah, blah, and you're like, all right. Meanwhile, you're getting your Saudi money from like the Saudi princes who won't even let a woman in the stadium. Like it's even the thing that's happening feels kind of patronizing. Is
the
what,
whole
what I
story
meant.
with what is her name, who was about to turn 40. She ended up from the WWE. She passed away.
I never knew who that girl was, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
You know,
Everyone sent me that thing, and I didn't.
The whole story around it. Okay, probably not a fun friendship podcast story, but
like, what
look
was that
into
girl's
it.
name? You know what you're talking about?
I'm forgetting it this second, but
She was like a blonde girl. Everyone sent me
she was really great.
I don't think she was that
She
big
just
in
passed
wrestling.
away recently.
No,
Yeah.
she committed suicide. But there's a whole effing thing around. Whatever.
I think her name's Ashley.
Ashley
Massaro.
Mazzara.
Yeah.
that's
And she
exactly
wasn't
what
like
it
a
was.
big wrestling.
She was
person.
never huge in the WWE, but she was there.
When
She
also
made it.
while she was there, like women's wrestling wasn't big.
No, yeah, that's-
women's wrestling used to
yeah.
be so aggressively misogynistic that
Yeah.
it was like even dudes would like leave the room and be like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom during this trash, because like Vince would just be like, all right, 2 hot chicks, and the first one to strip down to her bikini and or her bra and underwear loses the match.
That was the time.
And so it was like, it was even trash to us. Even like guys were like, this is just garbage. I'm not gonna watch this trash.
We're talking about what sells. That's what was selling at the time.
I imagine women would have been more interested in wrestling if they had, if they're doing what they're doing
probably,
now.
but that's the company line.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
oh, well, how do we make money? Oh yeah, let's get a bunch of chicks naked, have them beat each other up. Fine.
Yeah, it was weird. Weird.
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, that wasn't even exclusive to WWE
It didn't
at the
make
time.
it money.
It was every beer commercial was that way.
Right.
It's just kind of the times. Which I'm
I like
glad
beer.
we're going away from.
I like beer.
That's all I had to contribute to that part of that sentence.
Yeah. Well, beer commercials, I don't even know what. Is there anything that's still kind of like that? Anybody that's still just playing that route except Hooters?
Yeah, Carl's Jr., right?
I haven't seen one of those in a while.
haven't seen one in a
Really?
while either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about
Oh,
that
I
too.
thought that was still their thing.
I mean, I do recall that being a thing, but I haven't seen one in ages.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. They're all trying to be quirky now. Everything's trying to be like random,
Hipster,
funny,
quirky,
but it's not. It's
yeah.
like they're all doing it, but not well.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many of the commercials are just like, it's supposed to be like this, like awkward. Like it's like, nah, that's not awkward. You're just trying to force it on us. I don't know. I was thinking like commercial writing is pretty garbage.
They don't write commercials anymore.
Oh, they don't.
Not
Why-
really. They
why do you
just,
say that?
You just go in and improv.
Oh.
Like as
And
an
they're
actor,
like, ooh,
they
we'll take that.
yeah, they have you improv. They're like, yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
What's the audition you just had recently? Are you gonna? Is that for Russ? Right?
I had that one. Yeah.
How'd it go?
What was it?
Russell Wilson.
It was that one actually did have a script, which was rare, and it was about fantasy football. So it was like an agent going after like some schlub, like
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, join our fantasy football league." Like he was the star player,
Right.
and that was like one of the perks. It was like, "Guess who I'm have with me?" And it's like, "Hi, it's Russell Wilson." And I'm like, "What? No way!" So it was like that kind of thing.
But would he be on the phone?
Yeah.
Oh, you would never meet him then.
No, I think I would have though, because it would have been like a split screen thing. Like
Oh.
I don't know. Anyways, no, the other one was when they wanted me to come in and do jokes. I was like, it's like,
It's
so,
like for an audition, there's like, hey, can you have some jokes ready?
yeah, it's like
nothing
it's like,
under 3
yeah,
or nothing over 3
no more
minutes.
than 3 minutes. I was like, what, am I going to an open mic right now? Like, I'm not
Are
going
you
to
a comedian?
No.
And I dropped the ball too. He goes, give me some jokes.
was like,
and
I
I was
need a
like,
joke.
all right, I'll think of like some silly street
Yeah,
jokes and stuff.
yeah.
And I did.
You
And I
did
took
it?
it. I had to fly, and I was like,
Yeah.
I
He's
forgot.
your buddy.
I know.
It's all right.
We
But
didn't need it.
I didn't need it. So I went there and they're like, no, we didn't mean like that. Just like go up there and like there'll be 4 of you. You'll go in there and then just like tell like a quick joke, like you could even be like a dad joke. And then we'll move to the next one. Like, I was like, all right. And then this is when I was like almost walked out of there because the business is in a weird place right now. So a lot of this stuff is like non-union, which is great because you can make quick, easy money.
Yeah.
But then also it's like amateur hour a lot of the time when I walk in there, which I don't want to, talk shit on anyone, but like walk in there and guys, so the joke has to be about a dad. I was like, oh, fuck.
Ugh.
What'd you say?
Fucking kill me.
Everyone rolled their eyes.
Yeah, I didn't say
They said do a dad joke, and then one of the dummy actors goes, so the joke has to be about a dad? And they're like, no.
So
like
then I was
dad
like,
joke.
They didn't get that.
He didn't understand.
Yeah, so then I was like, oh,
sucks.
fuck. They're not even going to look at the tape of my group now because of this idiot.
What was your joke though?
Oh, I don't even remember.
Oh, good story.
Yeah, something real stupid.
I once a guy lost an audition for me for sure. It was a Revlon commercial where Jessica Biel was in a field, and then she's like kind of like running around with a boy, and then they kiss. And,
You're the boy?
I was supposed to be the boy.
Did you get to test for it with her?
Yeah, which was great. Well, you know what's the interesting
Did
thing
you
about
make
that
out with
commercial?
Jessica Biel?
No. We ran around a room together, and she thought it was very funny. But that's why I ultimately didn't get the part, because the guy that got it was the hottest guy I've ever seen in my life, and he was like very muscular and big, and he was like, I want to say Brazilian, but maybe it's just because we had Rafi. But he was like some sort of he looked exotic. He looked hot and exotic and strong. And Catherine was like, no, this is the guy. He's like clumsy, cute guy, like I don't fit in the sexy, strong category. I'm like in this kind of like bumbly, smiley guy. And so Jessica liked me, Catherine liked me, but the network was like, no, get this dude. And then when that commercial actually came out, he's hardly in it. Like he's like in the background, like just a muscle and like a tricep. And then Jessica Biel's like looking towards the camera.
They probably didn't want to pay him, so they didn't show his face.
Maybe. Yeah, he was not even in it. I really only wanted to do it because at that time, like I was living off the high of like booking something each like week. I was like, ooh, another thing to get excited about. And so,
and money.
Yeah. Well, at that time, yeah.
You didn't need it.
Well, at that time, I thought I was super rich because I was like, I went
What do
from
you mean
having.
you thought you were super rich?
I had like my bank account had like 15 grand in it, and I was like, I'm never gonna have to worry about anything ever again. Like I
Really?
it was like overnight. I went from like negative $200 to like thousands, and I was like, this is the greatest.
Because of what?
Last Comic Standing. And then I was like on a tour at that time. We were making a bunch of money, and so it was good. I went from really broke to like being happy.
Are you good at managing your money?
Yeah, very frugal.
Like
I don't know
my
if
people.
frugal's the right word. We're in a room with toys and an arcade and stuff. I have never I don't know. I think I'm good with money. Are you good with money?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm Jewish.
Yeah. Well, that's a broad generalization, which I didn't think you liked to make.
No, that one I'm okay with. We tend
You're
to
the
be.
second person to say that in a row, too.
Yeah.
What? That Jews are good with money?
No, my friend Rafi, he went through divorce, and he was like, but I didn't lose any money because I'm Jewish, and we figured out a way to nip that in the butt before we got married.
Yeah. Yeah.
Smart.
Prenup?
Some sort. He kept calling it the paper.
I just don't think he knew the word prenup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's from Brazil, so he speaks Portuguese, and like, so he just kept saying, "You gotta have the paper. You gotta have the paper." And I was like,
It's like so much more intense than
but I was like, I don't know, maybe that's what they call it in Brazil.
Yeah.
Because then he started saying prenup once we started saying
Oh,
it.
okay.
So then he was like, oh, okay.
That was such a weird thing too.
I can't imagine getting divorced. Like, breaking up with somebody sucks dick so hard.
Yeah.
Imagine getting divorced.
Oh,
I am the worst. How do you break up with people? This will be a fun conversation.
Oh, I get broken up with.
Really?
I don't. Well, okay.
You've never broken up with someone?
I
Surely
break
you
up
have.
with anybody that. Do you count like if you've dated somebody for, I don't know, like 3-4 times breaking up?
No.
Okay, so then
Someone
no.
you would have to sit down with and say like, hey, like I don't think this is working, or like text, we need to talk.
Then not really. Like a couple of guys, I guess, but mostly because they did something so stupid that.
So then
like,
it was obvious. Yeah, they're like, oh, I
It's
screwed
never
up.
like just not feeling it, because
Right.
I would never let it get to that point. Like I know exactly what I want. I know very quickly if I'm into somebody and where I see it going.
you don't feel like that can change though? Or that's never been the case?
I don't. If it
Ooh,
can,
Tony's weighing in on this.
Well, just because I've been in that
Interesting.
case too, where I'm like, I feel that way. I feel very strongly about that too, where it won't take me long to know if like, oh yeah, I can make this work with this person. But then there's been a time where I was like, a few months in, I was like, oh, this was not.
So I've never had that for
Yeah,
sure.
that's
and,
not fun.
And the one guy that I was questioning it about, ultimately, I was like, no, this is not working. And I knew from the jump that it was probably not going to work. But I feel too bad. I just found a video of myself from when I was 12 talking about getting dumped by my first boyfriend.
At 12, I'm so jealous.
I'm like a
I
little.
had my girlfriend forever.
I'm
You're
like
12.
I'm chubby and like I have skunk in my hair, like it was like striped all different colors. I'm sitting there and I'm like, and then he dumped me, whatever. And it's My whole life, I don't like to break up with someone. That's
No
just,
one likes breaking up with someone.
I think some people do.
No
I think some
way.
people like it more than getting dumped.
I think some people do.
I would much rather be the victim
I
than
would
be the guy that's the
always-
predator, like, or not predator. I know the opposite of victim. The one that like is doing the breaking up is way worse.
100%. I would rather get dumped 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, because
than
then
die with
everyone just
somebody.
feels sorry for me, and then I get to be like you'll regret this guy.
Yeah.
But I never, like it's way better to be that.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. Though.
Everyone does that with their regular lives.
It sucks.
That's true because I've only done it like twice, and like it was 7 years ago, and I still feel bad about it.
Oh yeah.
I'm still just like,
What,
oh,
where
that
you
was,
dumped somebody?
Yeah, and I was like, that was rough. Had to be done though. Like, at the
you
end of
have
the
to
day,
be done,
end of
though.
the day, did the right thing.
Did you think about going back to them ever?
No.
See, I'm a recycler.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
I'm
go
a
through the
recycler.
same people over and over.
But I'm
and
I do that as
over.
well, but
I'm
I
in the
will
other
say
way,
it's
though.
because even though those flaws don't tend to change, the good things I still enjoy about that
Yeah,
person.
exactly.
I still very much connect with them. I'm still very attracted to them. So it's like I go back to enjoying those things and then finding those flaws again. But
Yeah.
it's okay. I think that's nice.
Are you a recycler in the fact that like because for me, I'm the same way, but it's always someone that like someone left and then they're like, oh, I made a mistake. I'm like, all right. And then they crawl back in and then I get burned again.
No,
I don't think
it's,
of relationships the way everyone else does, I guess.
It's more about sex for me, I guess, when I'm talking about recycling, because I don't like to sleep with people that I don't know really well because it doesn't work for me. Like it
You don't
literally
think that-
doesn't
yeah,
work.
sure.
It doesn't like happen for me. So I'll recycle for sex.
You know what you got.
But then that sucks for them. Like that's a rude thing to do to somebody.
Not necessarily,
Maybe not.
because they might be feeling the same
You
thing
just have
towards
to
you.
say it up front.
Right.
Like,
But they might
Yeah.
be feeling the same thing towards you. Like,
Possibly.
no, I really enjoy having sex with her, and I really enjoy, like, we're going to have a fun night of, like, going back to our old jokes and, like,
Right. But I haven't had
catching up.
sex with somebody new in like I swear to God, it's almost been a decade. Like
Really?
I literally
You're a real recycler. Yeah,
it's next level.
it's like back chubby skunk hair going, like, well, he's back.
Kinda. Yeah. Kinda. It's not a good quality to have.
That's really
I just was
funny.
talking about this with somebody. They're like, you need to add somebody new to your
So,
your
someone is
lineup?
giving you that advice?
yeah, like you can't just
Call someone from the bullpen.
Get a new- yeah.
No, there's no bullpen.
Yeah.
I've
She
gone-
has to go.
That's what I'm
I've
saying.
gone
Add
through-
someone to the
I have
lineup.
go
Yeah.
Oh,
scout.
yeah.
I've
Yeah.
gone through
She has to go to the minor leagues and go, oh, which one of these young guys?
Honestly, I think I'm tapped out. At least in this city, I'm tapped out.
What does that mean?
Like I've used them all. Now they're married. Like
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, your lineup is all.
My lineup here is tapped out.
I don't want to put this
Oh.
into the universe, but I might be like the opposite of like good luck Chuck. Like I might be bad luck Jeff.
What does that mean?
All the girls that like I have, I don't like using the term recycle, but like the girls that I have had
Yeah, recycle's
sexual
mean, sorry. Mm-hmm.
like relationships with and like enjoy their company in that way, they'll like text me like, hey, we can't do this anymore. Like I met a really great guy, but I hope you're not upset. I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, whatever. And then like 2 months later, they're like, hey, want to go get drinks? I'm like, what happened? They're like, oh, we broke up. Like,
They
what-
recycle you.
Oh,
they
boy.
come back.
They
But
come
here's the
in.
thing. If we were to put it all on paper, none of those girls get into serious relationships or get married.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're all, like none of them.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
Yeah, I can't think of a single one who got married.
No, I'm very much the opposite.
But this could just be a product of living in LA. Like it could be like an LA thing.
It
Maybe.
sucks here.
I don't think it sucks here.
Los Angeles is the best city in the world, but
Yeah.
for dating, not into it.
Oh, I'm into it. I like it.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I
Mm-mm.
think LA is fun that way. Like in every other city, there isn't dating. Like when you go to like, I was in Iowa all week, and like literally 100% of the people were married or in relationships. Like
Yeah.
you don't live in Iowa single.
Okay, well, I don't know them. I only know the coasts because I'm from
Okay.
the East Coast. So
Yeah.
all dating, all the time. Dating there is amazing. Dating out here, ugh.
Do you mind if I ask you on here how old you are?
27.
Okay.
No, I don't mind. I'm about to be 28 in. a
I'm
week.
obsessed with aging. I think every year's gotten better than the last.
You're only the second guest we've had that's younger than me.
Oh, really?
Who's
But
the other one?
the
Huh?
Who's the other one?
Gianni.
Gianni. Yeah, Gianni was like
Paolo.
freaking 15 years old.
Yeah, he's like
He's
23.
the best.
Yeah,
But-
I should have asked you this, but I guess it's rude to ask. How old did you think I was?
I don't play that game anyways.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have
nobody
played that
plays
with you.
I always get like when people first meet me, they think I'm literally like 18, like I'm like
Oh,
a little
really?
child,
I
and then when
thought
they
you were,
know
like,
me, they think I'm
30.
like 35 or
I
something.
thought you were like
yeah.
30. You see, because you carry yourself very like mature. But I would believe if you told me you were like 21 because you look young.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's like my
It's a
style.
good look. Yeah,
And I would have just said that you might have been older than me just because I don't like when people are younger than me and like are successful. So
I'm working on it,
So
man.
like, oh, you're doing stuff. So she's got to be older.
I'm
than
still
me.
throwing frozen turkeys just
gotta
like
be
you.
older
So
than
I
me.
don't know if I'm actually, trying. We'll see.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wait,
Why
what
did you
am I-
ask?
Because I think that might change as far as like I'm finding because I'm 36, so I've found less and less and less people in my age group that are still single. They there's this weird pressure of like, I'm getting older, I got to settle down, like this weird earth rule that like literally everyone believes that they don't have to believe. Like that's called codependency. That's not called love. And they force it and they demand it and they go on a date like, hey, if you're not looking for love, like these expectations are the
Insane.
death of your relationship before the relationship even blossoms.
But what do you think about kids?
Freeze your eggs. Let's adopt. Let's make some kids. Let's hang out with my nieces and nephews. Like there's kids everywhere. There's kids everywhere.
Let's hang out with my nieces and nephews. You want to have kids? I'd hang out with my nieces and nephews.
Yeah, like there's kids everywhere. We don't have to like let it ruin our lives.
No, I agree.
Or we can accommodate if we get to a place where we're like, let's have some kids. Well, we didn't freeze your eggs, or I can't produce a baby. There's a bunch of kids that need dads and moms, and like I'm rich, like fucking we'll have kids. Like there's a way to do it. There isn't this like panic of like it has to come from my body and it has to be like. So there's so many. Like, that's another beautiful part of like living in modern times, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane when people want to have. This is a mean thing to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I think it's insane when people want to have kids so desperately, and they try and try and try for years to biologically have one, and they don't adopt. That's an insane thing to me. There's so many kids that need homes.
I agree.
What is that?
And I'll go a step further. I think it's insane that people are walking around society going, God, I got to find a woman to be with. God, I got to find a guy to be with. That would make me happy. Whereas like, just let it happen naturally. Like meet someone and then click with them. What is this like? They're literally pursuing, like, I'm looking for Mr. Right. I'm looking for Miss, you're like, ew, like just go to work. Do charity stuff. Do what you're passionate about. Create art. Like write. Do these things. And I'm pretty sure our world is funny enough that you're going to meet someone that you start clicking with and you're going to start to feel those emotions. Instead of looking for it, it never works. You end up just going, That's why these dating apps are so fleeting.
Yeah.
4 episodes in a row using the word fleeting.
What does that mean?
I just learned it.
You just learned fleeting?
Yeah.
You like it?
I've heard people use it forever,
but you just
but I
learned it,
just
yeah.
learned it.
You just added it to his lexicon.
Are you guys on the apps?
No. Never been. I have one app that's called Raya that
Raya, I think is how it's pronounced.
Oh, sorry. And I have
you
used
should be
it,
sorry.
but I let it go dormant for like a year at a time. And
So you're
then,
on it.
I
That's
have
like the big one that you have to be exclusive and like famous and stuff to be on. So
yeah,
good for you.
but that's very fleeting as well. They're all very fleeting because you just kind of go like, oh, this person's so hot. And it's very exciting at first, and then you just kind of lose interest because I think again, and maybe this is me being negative, but it's because you're pursuing it. It's forcing it, and when you force it, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Unless you're Harvey Weinstein, then it worked when you force it.
But
well, it's a callback.
yeah, I got it.
Didn't work.
I mean, it didn't.
He's in jail.
It wasn't great. It wasn't my favorite. My brother and his wife met on an app,
my favorite.
on a dating thing. JDate. You guys know what that is?
Jewish dating app.
Yeah. They met that
Where
way.
you only look for people that are like you.
No, you can look for people not like you that are interested in people like you. So a lot of people on JDate are not Jewish. They are
Really?
there to meet a Jew,
Oh yeah,
which is wild.
that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's a really strange thing.
How
She
many of the
happened to be
Jews that are
Jewish.
on the app are like, no?
They ask, like, are
They
you?
get mad, right? They're like, no, that's not what I came here for, to meet a person that wants to be with a Jewish.
I guess it's a weird
Yeah.
thing, but that's what I agree with you. I'm not on them. I've never been on them.
Yeah,
It just like
smart.
doesn't really feel like my
It also
style.
adds to the level of gossip in this town of like, oh, I saw her on this, or I matched with her on this.
For me, it's more like I'm really busy. And so I don't even want to give myself the option of sitting somewhere and swiping something.
Yeah.
Like that seems time consuming and I have no interest in that.
Right.
But with him, he's legit like perfect match, the love of his life. And I can't believe how cool that is that we live in a society where there's different things for different people.
Yeah.
Like that. Like for people, because he's a shy guy, doesn't really go out, not
Yeah.
social. I'm
So that
always
works
out.
great
so
for him. Yeah.
Exactly. But I think that if you can meet somebody, if you're somebody who likes to meet people in person, and instead of sitting there in your bedroom like swiping, just go outside.
Yeah. Or like find whatever your interest is, right? This would be my advice if somebody wants to find their soulmate or whatever. Let's say you're into I'm trying to think of a good example. Gaming. Go to a gaming thing. There's probably going to be some, but there's going to be, you're going to probably meet. Yeah, that's good. I liked it. It was my favorite.
Yikes, Jeff.
You'll meet.
I was just at E3.
Yeah, not a lot of girls.
I wasn't going to find my soulmate, I don't think. But
not a lot of girls there, was there?
no, there was girls there.
Some.
But they were with dudes already.
Oh, yeah. So okay, then let's not use that example. Let's say you want to work with the homeless. You get involved with a thing that like makes lunches for the homeless people, and we go on Sundays. You're probably going to meet a girl who has a similar interest because she's there and she has an interest in that. And then like you're going to like start talking to them and you're going to hit it off because you have mutual passions or convictions. And I don't know, that's a much smarter way to meet someone than just going, she's got a great chest and look at that face. Like everyone is into her face and chest. She's going to have a lot of candidates if that's all you're looking for. Like,
but then there's that opposites attract thing. So maybe what you should actually do is go somewhere that you hate being.
Yeah.
Talk to people around there. Find the people that love being there.
There you go.
I obviously cannot advise people in this area. I just told you guys how effed up my recycling is.
My favorite about like Taylor Tomlinson. She's like this young comedian that's very funny. You should look her up. She has a podcast with Kelsey Cook, who's a very funny comedian. Look her up. And they're like young. They're like young 20s, like lower 20s, and they have an app where they give advice to girls about like dating. I was like, you're both neither one of you know shit about the subject, and you're giving advice to. It's like the blind leading the blind.
100%.
And they're both depressed. Like they're both the most depressed people I know, and they're like they give like advice. It's like you guys are grumpy.
Yeah,
and it's such a weird thing to even give advice on because it's such a thing. It's different for everybody.
But you know what they do is they give generic rhetoric.
I know that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like
probably.
I don't think she's that good of a friend if she's talking to you like that. Oh, so instead of resolving it with this girl, your advice is that I should just delete her as a friend from my life?
100%. I think that people should stop giving advice on things that they don't know about.
Yeah.
Like for me, if my friends come to me for relationship advice, I'm obviously not the person to come to.
Yeah.
Come to me for career advice.
You're like, how about I just listen? How about I just listen to you while you vent?
And I'm happy to. But they're like, what do you think I should do? I'm like, I don't know. End up single like me. Like, I don't know. I don't have the
maybe
solution.
fuck a guy that you did when you were 12. Maybe that's
literally my advice. I'm like, have
you checked Facebook for all your old flames?
Have you called your ex? Like, I don't know.
That's such a pet peeve of mine. Just people asking me anything. I'll have someone.
Your pet peeve is people asking me anything.
No. But like someone will be like,
that's a red flag.
No. No, but someone will be like, what movie should I watch? I'm like, why would?
Oh, but that's something you know a lot of movies and there's things you like.
No, but it bugs me or it's like what?
That's literally making conversation.
But then it's like it just bugs me because I'm like I'm not gonna be there watching it.
What?
So I'm like I don't fucking care.
Tony's a very literal guy.
I'm very literal.
This is one thing.
I'm a pretty literal person.
The only thing we argue about is stuff like this.
Or someone like should I order chicken or steak? I'm like.
You'd be like, what do you want?
Yeah, what do you want?
Are you talking about like in a flirty capacity or your friends?
No, I'm like my friends.
What?
Because I'm just like, what?
You're bothered when your friends like, oh, I don't know, should I get chicken or steak?
If like they're out at the family dinner and they're texting me that, stop texting me.
They want you to make a decision.
We could not hang out, like ever. I cannot decide something without turning to the person next to me and asking.
But that's the thing. If we're on a journey together, that's one thing.
I love talking.
I'm like, what should I get? The shrimp or the chicken? Just so that I know what you think I should get. I might not get what you say.
But that also might remind me of a story about shrimps. And I'm like, there was this girl.
There was one time.
Yeah. And that's how talking works.
That's fine. If we were on a journey together, that's fine. If we're sitting at a table together,
that's
reading
how the journey
a menu,
starts, Tony. No, that's what we're talking about.
If you're at dinner and I'm at home and you're texting me.
Your friends, you're
I don't believe anyone is.
Your friends are texting you, should I get the steak or the chicken?
Yeah, like
that's serial killer
I don't
shit.
believe him.
I don't
believe anyone's ever texted you that
like
sentence.
We'll be in the middle of like already texting each other or whatever, and then they'll say,
what movie should I watch?
And I'm just like, I don't know. And then they get mad at me for not giving them an answer. I'm like, what the fuck?
What did we say at the beginning? Did we say he was good at lying or not? Because this is an obvious lie. I just don't know if he's good at it.
Roxy with the call.
Why would I? What a weird thing to lie.
Well, here's what happened.
What kind of?
I can actually narrate
dug
this.
himself too
What-
deep. Yeah,
What happened
for
was
sure.
you said a thing that we were like, really? And then you try to come up with such an example that we would have to agree with you. But the example is so preposterous that we
Why is
don't
it
believe it's a real
preposterous?
example.
Why? Why is it
Your pal-
preposterous?
Okay, well, because I don't think your friend would text you, even if you already
It
texting.
wasn't like texting out of the blue.
Steak
Like I
and
haven't,
chicken.
I haven't heard from them in
What
like
should
a
I
week.
eat?
We've been texting
unless
and we're
this is-
having a conversation, and then
Yeah.
they're like, "I'm at dinner. Should I order steak or chicken?"
I can't believe someone would text that.
That's what.
If you
don't
are-
you see why it's frustrating for me? Then
Okay.
well, but that
'Cause
should
I
have
think
only
it's
happened
stupid.
once in your life and wouldn't be a pet peeve.
That's
happens.
insane and not a real thing. And
All right.
okay, if you're flirting
Now you
with
see
somebody,
why it makes me angry.
if you're flirting with somebody and they're being flirty, being like, "Oh my god, I'm at dinner. What should I order?" Maybe
That's-
one time.
that's
in your
even-
life.
But that wouldn't be a
sounds
pet peeve
crazy.
because it would only happen once.
And it'd be somebody you were into
That
and you-
sounds crazy. I'm not saying this happens every day of my life, but I'm saying it has happened. And a bunch
Yeah.
of like
Screenshots
When
are-
people
don't
ask
believe
for
it.
my
Pull it up.
opinion on stuff.
Screenshots, right?
Oh
Yeah,
my
pull it
gosh.
up. Type chicken in the sidebar.
But you
of your
started
phone,
it by
see what
saying
comes
that-
up.
Can you do that?
Yeah, you guys don't do that ever.
But you
No.
started it by saying, wait, you can do what?
you can like
Search
scroll to the
keywords for
side
text?
and
Oh, yeah,
then
I do
you
that,
write
yeah.
a word and
I
then
do that
it
all the
pops up in
time.
your text.
Because I want to find a thing to
Either
show to a
chicken
person.
or shrimp right now. And if he can pull up one, I'll do something like insane. I don't know
Oh,
why.
wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but like that's how much I don't believe you.
Okay.
He started it with the example of what's a movie?
And that makes
one,
sense.
It's a really logical
I would text my
one.
friends like that know
I ask
about
people that all the
movies.
time.
What
What's a
should
movie I want to
watch?
watch? Yeah. Or I should watch.
Should
or
I
say.
order the chicken or the steak? Lies.
All right.
He's looking. It's not
I
working.
don't believe
You
it.
think he's making one up? He's
Well, I
probably-
talk to people, you know, like the people who ask me, I talk to them a lot. So I'd have to like, I'm really digging here.
All right. We're giving you a chance, a fair shake.
You guys can talk amongst yourselves. I don't have to just have dead
All right,
air as I
let's-
find
let's-
it. I'll
This will
bring
be
it
a
back.
fun one.
What do you want to
What's
do?
your
Oh my God. Look.
easy?
See? Pulled pork or beef brisket?
Wait, let me see this.
See?
No, give me the whole phone.
No, I'm not going to give you my
Then
phone.
I don't believe you. Give me your
Well,
phone.
she wants some
Look with your
context. She's
eyes.
asking
I
for
want
some
the
context.
What do you mean you want context?
First
Yeah,
of
so
all,
where
who
was it
said
going?
this?
Look, we're just
Give me
talking
your
about.
phone.
No, I don't
Say
give
it to him.
anybody my phone.
Do you pay him? Because
I
I
don't
need
give
his phone.
anybody
Yeah.
my
Boss?
phone.
Go
Look,
ahead.
we're just talking about normal stuff.
Okay.
They say, I hope you finish your laundry.
Wait, what's the name? What's the name
it
on
took-
top?
It's a girl.
Oh,
if
it's a
that
girl.
matters. So what?
She's flirting with you.
Oh my gosh.
And there's some gifs and some emojis
Oh my
going back and
gosh.
100%
forth.
that's what it is. Have you ever, are you straight?
Yeah,
Have you ever hooked up with this girl?
I'm not gonna say.
That's a yes.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. And she eats beef
That was the
brisket.
worst. That was the actual worst.
Why does that make any difference? Is what I don't
Because you were
understand.
saying, like, just your dumb buddies.
I'm not gonna
Them
say.
too. It's with anyone. Like, why
It's
ask
not
me
with
what
anyone.
you want to eat?
Because we love you.
It's not
We
with
want to
no
know your
sense.
opinion, bub.
Wow.
It makes no
What's
sense
a
to
movie
me.
I should watch? Tony has great movie taste. What's a movie I should watch?
No.
You know, and you sitting there
You-
going, why is Jeff asking me about
Did you
movies?
recycle this girl? Is that why you were triggered by
Recycle?
this? Yeah, you went
No,
back
I don't
to
do
it.
that.
You don't
I just
ever?
don't. I don't talk about that kind of
I
stuff.
think, well, so my buddy Brant has a...
she could be listening right now. I don't know.
My buddy Brant, she's
And
not
her
going to be mad
name
that she
is-
talked about the
Crazy.
beef and brisket. My buddy Brant has a theory that and this is, Brant, the amount of things he knows about women are subject for judgment. He used to always say, like, girls don't want an extra number. Like, oh, I've had sex with this many
A lot.
men.
That's true about a lot of.
But if I
people.
just have sex with a guy I've already had sex with, that doesn't add to my number.
I
so
do
he's
think that
already in
that's-
the group. You know?
I do think that that's part of what started with me.
Really?
Well, I think for me, it's more about like literally physically getting there with somebody, but also I don't.
I think it's hot to have sex with someone new. I love it.
Oh, really?
You said you expressed that you didn't
I
enjoy that.
hate
You don't
having
like that
sex-
because maybe you overthink it or something. But I think there's
I don't think
something.
it's overthinking it. They just don't know my body,
Right.
so they
Yeah.
are not like I am not easy to come. So it's
Right.
like I need somebody who understands
what
me
makes
personally.
you come? I get that,
So
but
and then it's just not fun. And then also maybe I am questioning it because like if we have no personal connection, no
Right.
emotional connection, what is it? It's
Well, it's
literally like
primal.
shaking hands with
yeah,
somebody.
well, but it's primal. It's
Yeah,
like a
not
very
for me.
like there's two types of sex, and if you're gonna break it down to like a oversimplification, like there's the I'm making love, and then there's the like we're fucking.
I don't
and
think
so
that's
I-
true though.
Well, I think that like maybe don't call it love, but it's this sensual kind of like, I know your body, I know what makes you, you know what makes me, and we're enjoying this thing together, whether you call that love or whatever. And then the other one, it's this like discovery of like, this is new. It's also exciting that it's happening. That's what like fucking is.
I literally wouldn't remember.
Yeah, I know, because you have sex with these old guys
I
from
literally
like.
wouldn't remember. So I don't know. I have no
Because sometimes
recollection.
just like, I can't even believe this. This person I was just like wildly attracted, and now it's happening. Now it's like not my mind.
But you guys
it's
are so different wired because
Yeah, that's all. I'm explaining it from
done.
Yeah,
Well,
which
I
is a
think-
generalization.
No, but to be fair, I'm the opposite of you. I never have fun the first time with somebody because I'm thinking about
figuring
it,
it out.
and I'm thinking about it way too much.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just weird. If I'm never comfortable, it feels weird.
You shouldn't be comfortable. You should not be comfortable the first time you're having sex with somebody.
Which is, and then it's not, and then it's so it's
that
not.
seems like a real
fun.
weird statement.
Dude, I take
That
it
doesn't
back.
sound
I
like
take
the
it back
women's
literally
movement that I've
immediately.
been like,
I'm not
hey,
saying-
these women should be uncomfortable the first time they have sex.
You're 100% right. And also, I'm not saying you shouldn't like it, but it shouldn't be like, oh, this feels like riding a bike. Like everybody is different. So
Yeah.
it's not like
Right.
it's not like you know what you're doing with somebody new. You know what you're doing, they know what they're doing, but do you guys know each other?
I once had sex with a couch. It's gonna feel good no matter like
You
what.
guys are different. I told you.
Yeah.
It's a different system.
It's a whole different system.
Like,
Where can people find you, see you, enjoy you, and see what you're doing?
everywhere at ROXY STRIAR. So I'll tell people there: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the whole 9 yards.
ROXY STRIAR. And
Yeah,
spell
buddy.
it for the creeps.
ROXYSTRIAR. Why are they creeps?
That's just what I call people. They're not really creeps. It's just a fun term of
That's so
endearment.
nice
Yeah,
of you.
I love them. Love the creeps. What is there anything like you're working on currently? Any exciting things that they can look forward to?
Yeah. I'm in a movie coming out on August 2nd, Madness in the Method. It's Jamie's directorial debut, so I'm excited
cool.
about that. With Kevin Smith and Terry Hatcher, Dean
Nice.
Cain, Stan Lee is actually in
Where's
it.
the premiere party at? Where's all that going down?
I don't know. I think I know, but I think I'm not supposed to say.
Oh, but what if we want to crash it?
Well, then I don't know if you're going to be there.
I might be.
Well, maybe.
If I crash it.
I'm gonna let you know. Yeah, I meant in the city.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm excited about that, and then also over at Screen Junkies, Collider, all the places.
Nice. Very good. Well, thanks for being on here.
What would I have said that would not have been very good? Nice, very good.
If you'd had nothing to tell them,
Yeah.
I'd have been like, well,
I
that
have
doesn't
nothing
help.
going
I'd have
on.
criticized that if you're like, nah, nothing going on.
Yeah.
Nothing to report.
Sorry,
Which leads me
nothing.
to Tony. Tony, what do you want to plug?
I have nothing to report.
Oh,
No,
I
you
knew
can-
that was coming.
Yeah. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Tony Reavis and just see what I'm up to.
He is Tony Reavis. He is Tony Reavis.
That's not what I said.
Yeah, it is.
Whoa.
That's exactly what he says.
No. Chicken or steak, Tony?
I don't know. It's too hard. Both.
I'm going to be in San Diego this weekend. American Comedy Company. Come check me out. Me and Josh Nelson will just be popping around afterwards, having drinks and hanging out with all you creeps. We love you guys. Thanks for being on this.
Thanks for having me.
We'll do it again
Wow.
with you. You'll
Do you
come
mean
back.
it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Friendship.
How about that? Episode 66 in the books. Big announcement next week. Next week is the official big announcement for Jeff Dye's Friendship Podcast. Me and Tony doing big thanks. But it's all because of our Patreon subscribers, and we love you guys. So stay tuned next week for the big announcement. If you want to be a Patreon subscriber, go to patreon.com/Jeff Dye, and you can get new episodes and free tickets and all sorts of goodies. Otherwise, keep listening. Keep telling your friends about it. We really appreciate all you guys. And hopefully I'll see you guys in San Diego this week. Bye.